Hi everyone. I pray to God that the profile that I'm doing this live on is T.I. Fabian. I have basically decided to start a series of videos where I use the pain as an opportunity for emotional reevaluation. Basically talk about how the pain affects daily life, not just how it affects you emotionally but physically. And basically just a rant because I feel like it. Now, this is video 1. This is a redo of video 1 because the last video that I made an allegation that, honestly, because of gaslighting and the way it works, I can't really back up, even though I've told several other people what I think happened and what I heard. It wasn't a lie necessarily, but because of gang stalking and gaslighting constantly, what happens is that people often throw insults when I can't necessarily, hang on a sec. People normally throw insults under their breath or throw insults in a way that can leave room open for reasonable doubt. So while I think that the allegation that I made was actually true, I'm not entirely sure. So I have to give it a chance before. Yeah. Hi, Baffy. I have to give it a chance before I can, before I can make any further allegations. I have to give people the benefit of the doubt, unfortunately. So that's why I'm redoing this first video. The conclusion that I came to in the first video, it started off with me making a complaint about an Amazon delivery, and then it ended with me making a really startling realization about why I do what I do, about why pain is so important for torture. It's not just about making people miserable, it's about control. The weird thing is that the people hurting you, they hurt you because they want to feel like they're needed. Fuck. I mean, I said it, but just not in that way. Like, the people who hurt you, they want to feel like they're needed. The people who engage in electronic torture, even in emotional torture, it's a weird thing, because the thing is, they hurt people that they think can't really defend themselves, and yet at the same time they do it because they want that same person to constantly be in need. It's like the more you're in need, the more you need help is the more you need help. So the more you need help is the more you can't get it. And I think there's a certain part of the torturer's brain that actually wants to keep specific groups of people reliant on them. And I think as a targeted individual, the reason why I go through electronic torture and all these kinds of things is because the people abusing me, they need to feel like they're needed. And it's not even just the people abusing me, it's the people abusing all TIs. They need to feel like they're needed. And that's exactly why they cause people pain. It's not just boredom. They need to feel like they're of use. And I know that sounds like the weirdest thing to say, because you're talking about monstrous acts. I mean, people have been murdered with these so-called non-lethal weaponry. People have been murdered with it. So it seems really awful to say, oh, what, they're murdering us because they need us. Well, yeah, that's exactly it. You see, what people in a position of privilege will never tell you is that they need you more than you need them. And they project that onto you by making out like what they have is so wonderful and so great. And perps are no different. They make out like their lives are amazing because they get to torture people for a living, when really their lives are shit. And they need you, they cause you pain because they're in constant need of validation, in constant need of attention, in constant need of, they're in constant need of something to help fill the void. And they need you to do that more than you need them. You if they weren't causing you pain, this is the thing that, hang on. This is the thing that nobody considers, right? If they weren't causing you pain, you wouldn't even know they existed. And I think the reason why they're okay with us getting angry and calling them all kinds of names is that, it's like I said before, the only thing worse than being hated is not existing. And ultimately, when abusers cause you pain all the time, they literally feel like a vacuum. And they are, just not in the way that they think. You see, when you cause people pain all the time, you become a vacuum of emotion, time, energy, resources. And then you project that onto people and make it like it's their fault when you abuse them. That's not how it works. When you're a TI, people need you. When you're a perp, you need people. And one of the fundamental reasons why we say that is because, honestly, really think about it. It's not just about attention. There's a point that I was coming to. I forgot it. It's like I said in my first video. It's like I said in the original Pain Chronicles video, the first video. I said something along the lines of, if they cause you a great amount of pain, right? Then in your mind, if the pain is enough to get in the way of your life and to get in the way of your lifestyle, then that would mean in order for all of this to end, you would need them to stop what they're doing, right? So in that sense, they project that need for you and for your attention onto, they project that onto you through this pain, because they already need you so much. They want you to need them just as much. So this is why us talking about gang stalking, even though they don't want people to find out, us talking about this gang stalking is not going to hurt the perp's feelings. Because in their mind, it gives them a certain amount of power to think that, oh, I have to stop the pain. It has to be me that decides to stop the pain before they get better or before they improve their lives. But what happens when you realize that you don't actually need them to improve yourself emotionally? Hell, even to improve yourself physically. What happens when you realize you don't really need them like that? What happens when you start to recognize your rights, recognize your own power? What happens when you start to find a way through the pain? Because the way it works is this. Illness, people think illness is a concrete thing. I've been ill all my life with mental illness, occasional bouts of physical. Illness is not a concrete block. It's got gaps in it. All obstacles, we think they're like this, that like illness, all that type of shit, we think it's like this. But it's actually like this. All situations are porous. They're porous. They're not solid. They just feel like that. But they're not. Sometimes when you get something that's moving at you so fast, you forget it's not entirely solid. That's what the pain feels like. It's moving hard and fast. So we think to ourselves, oh, it's insurmountable. There's nothing that we can do, but that's not true. When you're sick and you're particularly ambitious enough, there are little holes through the illness, little holes through the obstacles that you can see. And you start to find your way through those tiny little holes. That's how you overcome the pain. That's how you overcome the torture. And that's how you overcome the illness. The best part about this is that me telling you this is not going to affect your ability to stop being resilient. They can't do anything about that. They can't do anything about the fact that their torture and the obstacles that they put in your path is not solid. They can't do anything about that. All they can do is basically, try to find ways to, all they can do is scramble and try to find the next big thing to throw at you. But if you recognize that nothing is porous, then it doesn't matter what they throw at you, you're always going to find a way around it. And pain is the same. I'm in pain right now. I can barely move to tidy my bedroom. I couldn't even take a shower this morning. I could take a shower, but I wouldn't be able to bend down. But this is the thing now. I find little holes in the illness, little holes in the pain. See, I'm being tortured right now. Little holes in the pain. And I find my way through those holes. So, for example, when it comes to this shower issue, I wash myself every time I go in the bathroom. So, which is why I can stay in bed all day and I don't stink. I wash myself every single time I go in the bathroom. So even when I don't take a shower, my hygiene's on point. I've been doing it since I really got a grip on my depression. So even in my depressed moments, my hygiene is still on point, even if I don't take a shower. Because it's important. It's important to keep yourself clean, and you're going to be sick. There are certain things you're not going to be able to do. So what do? You find a way around it. You find a way around everything. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that when you find a way around things, which is exactly what the torturers don't want you to do, it doesn't matter what torture they throw at you, you don't need them anymore. You don't need them to get better. You don't need them to get better emotionally. You don't need them to keep yourself clean. You don't need them for anything. They want to stamp that out of people. What they want is the same results that people get from being loved all the time, but they want to get it in a way that enables them to abuse people. Because think of this, right? You can have super obedient, super happy, super beautiful beings, but the way it happens is usually through extreme circumstances, either extreme love or extreme abuse. But 9 times out of 10, extreme love works better than extreme abuse. The kind of world that we're living in, people are being uplifted based on how much extreme abuse they can take and still be these perfect gods and goddesses that this society wills all of us to be. Yeah, that's what they want. They want a small. If they wanted everybody to be like that, then they go towards the extreme love direction. But they want everybody to be. They want a small group of people at the top who can be fashioned out of extreme abuse, and then they want the rest of us to strive up to that, and to take inordinate amounts of brutalization in order to strive for that. That's what they want. But in order for them to achieve that, we have to need them to stop the pain. That's what nobody tells you. Even if you become this fucking ubermensch from all the abuse that you take, even if you become this ubermensch, it still relies upon you needing the abuser. If you raise people on extreme love, they don't really need you anymore. It becomes a thing of, I'm only going back because I want to be around that person. I only want to be with them. It's not because I want to obey them or anything. It's because I love being in their company. But when you raise people on extreme abuse, yeah, it's about keeping them needing you. I think the laws of power were, I think it was the law of power. I think it was, it's Robert Greene. One of the laws of power was that in order to remain independent, meaning in order to have your power, you have to keep other people dependent on you. And they're not going to be dependent on you unless they're in some form of pain. And that's just the way it is. So, yeah, what this is really about is keeping people in need. But like I said before, pain, illness, it's not fucking, what do you call it? It's not solid. There are gaps in it that you can move through. And before people know it, you've moved through the obstacles. How do you think I ended up in Brighton on a flat of my own in spite of everything that's happened, in spite of the entrapment, which I'm going to get to in a second? How do you think I've been able to start a whole new life by myself in spite of everything thrown at me? It's because I move through the holes. It's not because I avoid pain. It's not because I avoid what's happening to me. It's because there are spaces in between of everything. And when times get bad, I move through them, or at least I try to. And of course, you know, the people abusing me, they try to prevent that from happening, but they're not very good at it. So, you know, that's that part. The second part that I want to get to in this video is entrapment. Now, I used to, the first 5 years of gang stalking was basically me assessing that gang stalking was about having people killed or having people institutionalized or having people homeless. But because we know that that's what people are trying to do, it never occurs to us why they're doing it. It never occurs to us why they're doing it. First off, let's consider the fact that people are being genocided for the secret trust in their name anyway. There's a certain amount of investment being poured into citizens because of the whole population control thing. All of that costs money. The taxation, passports, media coverage, like all that type of shit. It goes through different networks and different industries, but propaganda costs money. Social control costs money. Welfare costs money. Healthcare costs money. Even if you're charging your own citizens for it, all of it costs money. It costs money out of the secret trusts in our name. So this whole depopulation program is revolved around saving resources and saving money ultimately. Preventing too much inflation. Okay? So basically that's why people are targeted in the first place. That's why people are genocided in the first place. It's all about money and resources. That's where it always comes back to. Okay? Another form of control, but anyway. Where entrapment comes in is where the institutionalization stuff comes in. Now, I've experienced entrapment enough times to know exactly how it works and why now. So I can tell you about it. And basically another TI friend actually helped me understand not only the name of it, but why it was important. First off, we talk about the fact that lots of TIs find themselves being mobbed out of their homes by several people, by either a neighborhood watch or community policing or organized stalking of some kind. They're mobbed from place to place, okay? Now, several people mobbing you out of your home is called entrapment. And that entrapment is usually to get you out of the community. I don't know where they expect targeted individuals to go when they get, if they keep moving, if they keep the TIs mobile, I don't know where they expect them to go. But anyway, entrapment is to get somebody out of the community. Now, I spoke to a TI about this yesterday. I'm not going to mention their name, but I trust them. I trust them with a lot of things because they know a lot of shit. And I said to them, I asked them, why? Because I've experienced this several times with people trying to get me into hospital. And I'm thinking, why do people want me in hospital? Like, why do they want me in hospital so bad if they just want me out of the house? Like, what is that? Because I've just come back. Like, what purpose does that serve? It turns out, if you are in hospital for a certain amount of months, I think it's up to 6 months, I'm not sure, I'd have to look this up. if you're in hospital for a certain period of time, especially if you're in private property, you can lose your property. So this is one of the reasons why entrapment, one of the goals of entrapment is to get you in hospital. That's the first part. The second part is that if you ever want to press charges against community stalkers or against organized stalkers for entrapment, as well as the multiple crimes they committed, including electronic torture, if you are sectioned, especially if you're involuntarily sectioned, that would make your claims or your evidence inadmissible in court. So when it comes to this whole organized stalking thing, the mental health angle is an insurance. That's the reason why people who talk about targeted individual things, people who talk about electronic torture, people who talk about organized stalking, organized harassment, that is why the crazy label is put on them immediately. It's to prevent targeted individuals from attaining some sort of legitimacy when it comes to testifying in court against the people that are hurting them. That's one of the chief reasons why they do it. The easiest thing for somebody in power to do is to claim that somebody, if somebody's claiming that you're electronically torturing somebody, even if you have proof, you're electronically torturing somebody, you're engaging in organized stalking, all you have to do is say this person has a mental illness. And if it goes on long enough, you can turn around and say that person has a mental illness, they need to be locked up. If they're locked up involuntarily, if they're involuntarily sectioned, even if they're voluntarily sectioned, if they're in there for a certain amount of time, then their shit becomes inadmissible in court. So you've harassed a person out of their home, you've electronically tortured them, you've stalked them, organized stalking, you've gaslit them, you subjected them to psychological torture as well as electronic torture. And now when the time comes for you to get your day in court and for you to answer for everything that you've done, you've already called the person crazy to the point where they've been sectioned and to the point where they've been diagnosed. So none of their shit is admissible in court, especially if they're labeled as paranoid schizophrenic. None of their shit is admissible in court, even with evidence. Even with evidence, none of your shit is admissible in court. That's why they use the mental health angle all the time. And if enough people say it, then enough people believe it. And if enough people believe it, sectioning is easy. That's why the mental health thing is constantly used. It's got nothing to do with the fact that targeted individuals may or may not have mental illnesses. It enables calling targeted individuals crazy. It enables secret conservatorship abuse. Because remember about the secret trust I told you about? Every single citizen has got one. Okay? It enables conservatorship abuse. It enables crimes to be committed. The mentally ill person can't say jack shit because their testimony will not be accepted in court. Their evidence will not be accepted in court, especially if they are diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia or they have been sectioned. So this is what enables the organized stalkers to get away with entrapment. It enables several people to get away with mobbing somebody out of their home. My thing is this. If you don't want TIs in your community, then where do you want them to go? Obviously, the only place for them to go is a mental health hospital, right? Obviously, the only place for them to go is a hospital or in the grave. So clearly, what you're doing with targeting individuals, not even just targeted individuals, but also mentally ill people as well, clearly you are trying to do one of two things. Either you're trying to engage in some kind of fucking social hygiene initiative, or you're creating an open air Holocaust. Possibly both. Because if you're moving poorer people from place to place, if you're moving TIs from place to place with this entrapment bollocks, then where are they supposed to go other than hospital? That's an open air Holocaust. That's an open air Holocaust. And don't worry if you don't think there are enough hospitals to fund that many mentally ill people. That's what camps are for. Aren't new camps being built? Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't mind being corrected, but aren't new camps being built? I'll look it up myself and see if it's true. But from what I've heard, new camps are being built. So that gets around that problem. That gets around that fucking problem. Do you know what I mean? And this is the thing, like, mentally ill perps, they really think they're safe. That's what makes me laugh. Like, perps who are marginalised especially, they really think they're safe. You guys make me laugh, man. You really think you're safe out here. You really, really think you're safe. That is such a damn shame. I almost feel sorry for you. Almost. You know what? Such a beautiful day here in Brighton. It's gorgeous. Look at it. Oh, hang on a sec. 1 second. Look at that. Look at that beautiful sunshine, man. And I can't go outside. It's 24 degrees out there, you know. Got a whole heat wave out here and I can't go outside because of my back. It's a damn shame. But I did go out yesterday. I went out yesterday with a friend. A beautiful friend of mine. And now it was lovely. It was like, you know when the sun's not too hot. You know when it's hot but it's not too hot. So instead of feeling like something's burning your skin, it feels like a warm blanket. That's how it was yesterday, just chilling by the sea. Oh, it was great. It was crowded. You know, there are people playing some jams out there, man. I don't know what it is with Brighton and fucking portable speakers. Like, everybody's got a portable speaker walking around. Like, I don't understand it. It's not like that in London. Like, in London, you don't really get that. Like, you get people listening on their headphones, not really wanting to talk to each other. But round here, it's just like, my guy, like, headphones? Like, why do you need to roll around on skateboards like with music coming out of portable speakers? It's not necessary, but yeah. Had a lovely day by the beach yesterday. My back was fucked, but it was worth it. And this is exactly what I'm saying about finding the holes through the obstacles. You know? But yeah, gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous today. Oh God, I can't go for a walk around the hills, or it's such a shame. It really is, but you know, life. Anyway, that was Pain Chronicles 1. Thank you guys for joining me. Sorry if I rambled a little bit. I tend to do that because it takes me a while to find the point. But yeah. Thank you guys for joining me. I love you guys. Take care. Bye.